Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been searching for a way to generate monthly income from the stock market, without selling shares, without trading options yourself, and without constantly worrying about timing the market, then this video is for you. Today, we're doing a complete deep dive into two of the most talked about monthly dividend ETFs right now, QQQI and SPYI. These are not traditional dividend ETFs like SCHD or VTI. They don't rely on dividend growth from companies. They don't wait for quarterly payouts. Instead, they use options-based strategies to generate monthly cash flow, and that has made them extremely popular among income investors, early retirees, anyone trying to replace or supplement a paycheck. But here's the problem. Most videos on YouTube only talk about the yield. They flash big percentages on the screen and skip over the details that actually matter. In this video, we're not doing that. This is a long-form, no hype, full breakdown of QQQI and SPYI. We're going to cover how these ETFs actually generate income, why the yields look so attractive, the real risks nobody explains clearly, how QQQI and SPYI behave in bull markets, bear markets, and flat markets, whether these ETFs are suitable for long-term retirement income, and how investors are realistically using them in portfolios today. By the end of this video, you'll know whether QQQI, SPYI, both, or neither belong in your portfolio. And just as important, you'll understand what expectations you should and should not have. Hello viewers, if you are enjoying this content, and you do not want to miss future videos filled with even more tips, tricks, and inspiration, hit that subscribe button now to stay tuned with us, and remember to comment and share. Why monthly dividend ETFs are booming. To understand why QQQI and SPYI have exploded in popularity, we need to zoom out first. For decades, investors were trained to think in quarterly terms. You bought dividend stocks. You waited 3 months. You got paid. But the world has changed. Today, rent is monthly, utilities are monthly, groceries are weekly, and retirement expenses don't wait for quarterly checks. That's why monthly income ETFs have become so attractive. They offer predictable cash flow, easier budgeting, and psychological comfort, especially during volatile markets. Now add one more factor. Traditional dividend growth has slowed. Many classic dividend stocks face higher debt, slower growth, and pressure from higher interest rates, so fund managers started looking elsewhere for income. That's where option strategies come in. Instead of waiting for companies to raise dividends, these ETFs sell options to generate income. And that brings us to QQQI and SPYI. What QQQI actually is. Let's start with QQQI. QQQI is an options-based income ETF built around the NASDAQ 100. In simple terms, the NASDAQ 100 includes companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, and Google. These companies don't pay high dividends, but they are extremely liquid and heavily traded. That liquidity is important, because it makes options premiums rich. QQQI takes advantage of that. Instead of owning QQQ and waiting for growth, QQQI holds exposure to the NASDAQ 100, sells index-based options, collects premiums, and distributes that income monthly. This is very different from picking individual covered calls on single stocks. QQQI uses index options, which are cash-settled, avoid assignment risk, and can be managed more systematically. The result: monthly income, often much higher than traditional dividend ETFs. But here's the key point most people miss. That income is not free. What SPYI actually is. Now let's talk about SPYI. SPYI is similar in concept, but different in execution. Instead of the NASDAQ 100, SPYI is built around the S&P 500. That means broader diversification, less volatility, slightly lower option premiums compared to tech. SPYI uses a systematic options overlay strategy to generate income from the S&P 500. The idea is simple. The S&P 500 doesn't always go straight up in flat or choppy markets. Options premiums can outperform price appreciation. SPYI tries to turn market volatility into cash flow. This makes SPYI appealing to investors who want monthly income, less tech concentration, and smoother performance compared to QQQI. But again, higher income comes with trade-offs. Why QQQI plus SPYI are often used together. Here's something interesting. Many investors don't choose QQQI or SPYI. They choose both. Why? Because together, they offer growth-oriented income exposure, QQQI broad market income exposure, SPYI. In theory, this creates better diversification, smoother income streams, and reduced reliance on a single market segment. But theory and reality aren't always the same. And in the next section, We're going to talk about how these ETFs actually perform across different market conditions, and where things can go wrong. The big misunderstanding about options income. When most investors hear the word options, they immediately think of risk. Day trading. Leverage. Blown up accounts. But the options strategies used by QQQI and SPYI are very different from what most retail traders do. These ETFs are not making directional bets, gambling on short-term price moves, or trying to time the market. Instead, they are doing something much more boring and much more consistent. They are selling options, not buying them. That's a critical difference. When you sell an option, you receive cash up front. You're getting paid for uncertainty, and time works in your favor. QQQI and SPYI are essentially acting like insurance companies. They sell protection to the market, collect premiums, and repeat the process month after month. But, and this is important, insurance companies don't always win. Sometimes they have to pay claims. Index options versus covered call ETFs. Let's clear up another point of confusion. QQQI and SPYI are not the same as traditional covered call ETFs that own stocks, sell calls on individual holdings, and cap upside aggressively. Instead, these funds primarily use index options. That means, they are written on the index itself, they are cash settled, and they avoid stock by stock assignment risk. This allows the fund managers to adjust strikes more flexibly, manage exposure dynamically, and target income more precisely. It also means the ETFs can participate in some upside but give up part of it in exchange for income. Think of it like this. You're trading potential future gains for current cash flow. That trade-off is the entire business model. Where the monthly distributions come from. Now let's talk about the distributions. This is where a lot of misunderstanding happens. The monthly payouts from QQQI and SPYI come from option premiums, sometimes short-term capital gains, and occasionally return of capital, and that last part scares people. But return of capital is not automatically bad. In some cases, it's a tax-efficient way to distribute income. It reduces your cost basis and it defers taxes until you sell. The problem only arises when return of capital is used to mask losses or distributions exceed long-term total returns. That's why yield alone is a terrible metric. You must look at total return, NAV stability, and income sustainability over time, and we'll do exactly that later in this video. Why the yields look so high? Let's address the elephant in the room. Why do QQQI and SPYI show double-digit yields? The answer is simple. Volatility. Options premiums increase when markets are volatile, uncertainty is high, and traders are willing to pay for protection. The past few years have been a perfect environment for this strategy. But here's the reality check. High volatility boosts income but also increases risk of drawdowns in calm, trending bull markets. These ETFs often underperform plain index funds in sideways or choppy markets. They can outperform on an income basis, so the question becomes, what kind of market are we heading into? And just as important, what kind of investor are you? The hidden trade-off most investors ignore. Here's the trade-off no one likes to talk about. When you choose income now, you often sacrifice growth later. This doesn't mean QQQI and SPYI are bad. It means they serve a specific purpose. They are tools. And like any tool, used correctly, they're powerful. Used incorrectly, they can damage a portfolio. These ETFs are not designed to beat the S&P 500 over 30 years, maximize capital appreciation, or replace growth ETFs entirely. They are designed to convert volatility into cash flow, reduce reliance on selling shares, and smooth income during uncertain markets. Who these ETFs are actually for? Let's be honest. QQQI and SPYI are not for everyone. They may make sense for retirees needing monthly income, investors transitioning from growth to income, high income earners seeking cash flow diversification. They may not make sense for young investors focused on maximum growth, investors who panic during drawdowns, anyone chasing yield without understanding the strategy. This is why context matters. Why market environment matters more than yield. Narrator, if you take only one lesson from this entire video, let it be this: options income ETFs do not perform the same in every market. And yet, most investors treat yield as if it's permanent. It isn't. QQQI and SPYI respond very differently depending on whether the market is trending up, falling sharply, or moving sideways. That's why understanding market environment matters more than headline yield. Let's walk through each scenario slowly. Bull markets, the hidden cost of income. In strong bull markets, growth dominates. Indexes climb steadily. Volatility stays low. Options premiums shrink. This is the hardest environment for income ETFs like QQQI and SPYI. Why? Because when you sell options, you cap upside, you collect smaller premiums, and you underperform pure growth during long bull runs. QQQ or SPYI will usually outperform even after accounting for dividends. This doesn't mean QQQI or SPYI lose money. It means your income stays consistent but your total return lags. That's the price of predictability. And for some investors, that's acceptable. For others, it isn't. Income as a psychological buffer. Now let's talk about bear markets. This is where things get interesting. In market drawdowns, prices fall, fear rises, volatility explodes, and volatility is the fuel for options income. In these environments, option premiums increase, monthly distributions can rise, income continues even as prices fall. This doesn't make QQQI and SPYI crash proof. They still decline. But the experience is different. You're not just watching red numbers. You're receiving cash flow. That psychological difference reduces panic, encourages discipline, and prevents emotional selling for income-focused investors. This can be invaluable. Sideways markets, where these ETFs shine. Sideways markets are the sweet spot. Indexes move up, then down, then nowhere. Growth investors get frustrated. But options income strategies thrive here. In flat markets, options premiums stay elevated, upside caps matter less, income becomes the primary return driver. This is where QQQI and SPYI often match or outperform index funds, deliver steady cash flow, and justify their role in portfolios. Unfortunately, sideways markets don't make headlines. But historically, they happen more often than people think. NAV erosion, the fear everyone has. Let's talk about NAV erosion. This is the criticism you hear constantly. High yield always destroys NAV. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it isn't. NAV erosion occurs when distributions exceed total return, losses are repeatedly realized, or income is artificially supported. The key question is not, does NAV ever go down? The real question is, does NAV recover over full cycles? QQQI and SPYI must be evaluated across multiple market environments. Total return, not just income distribution. Sustainability, a declining NAV with high income can still be acceptable if income is the goal, but only within limits. QQQI versus SPYI, volatility makes the difference. Here's a crucial distinction. QQQI is more volatile than SPYI. Why? Because the Nasdaq 100 is tech-heavy, moves faster, experiences larger swings. That volatility increases income potential, increases drawdown risk. SPYI, built on the S&P 500, is more diversified, moves slower, produces smoother returns. This is why many investors use SPYI as a base income ETF, layer QQQI on top for higher yield. It's not about choosing a winner. It's about balancing behavior. How these ETFs perform during crashes. Let's be very clear. During market crashes, QQQI and SPYI will fall, sometimes sharply. They are not bonds. They are not cash. They are still equities. The difference is income continuity. Even during drawdowns, options premiums remain, distributions continue, investors avoid forced selling. This can extend portfolio longevity in retirement. But only if expectations are realistic. The big mistake, chasing income without a plan. Here's the mistake that hurts people. Buying QQQI or SPYI at market peaks with no allocation plan, expecting stable prices. These ETFs require position sizing, discipline, income reinvestment strategies, and emotional patience. They are not set and forget growth funds. They are income engines. And engines require management. So now we come to the most important question of this entire video. After hours of analysis, after breaking down strategies, risks, income, market behavior, and psychology, are QQQI and SPYI worth owning? And the honest answer is this: right pointing finger emoji. They can be extremely useful if you understand what you're buying. But they can also be deeply disappointing if you expect them to behave like traditional growth ETFs or classic dividend growth funds. QQQI and SPYI are not magic. They are not shortcuts. And they are definitely not set it and forget it investments. They are tools. And like any tool, their value depends entirely on how, and why, you use them. What QQQI plus SPYI do well? QQQI and SPYI excel at one primary job: turning market volatility into monthly cash flow. They are designed to pay income every month, reduce the need to sell shares, provide psychological stability during volatile markets. They shine when markets move sideways, volatility is elevated, investors value cash flow over maximum growth. For retirees, near retirees, or income-focused investors, that consistency can be incredibly powerful. Monthly income changes behavior. It reduces panic. It encourages patience. And it helps investors stay invested during difficult markets. What they do not do. But let's be just as clear about the limitations. QQQI and SPYI are not designed to beat the market long term. They will lag in strong bull markets, cap upside, and sometimes frustrate growth-focused investors. They are also not immune to drawdowns. Their prices will fall during market crashes. Their NAV can fluctuate. And yields will change with volatility. Anyone buying these ETFs purely for the yield, without understanding total return, is setting themselves up for disappointment. How most successful investors use them. The most successful investors don't ask, is QQQI better than SPYI? Or is this better than SCHD or VU? They ask a better question: what role does this play in my portfolio? In practice, SPYI is often used as a core income stabilizer. QQQI is layered on for higher yield and growth exposure. Traditional growth ETFs handle long-term appreciation. Dividend growth ETFs handle inflation protection. This balance matters. Income alone is not enough. Growth alone is not enough. The goal is durable income with survivable volatility. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this: QQQI and SPYI don't replace a portfolio, they complete one. They reward patience. They punish unrealistic expectations. And they demand that investors think in cash flow terms, not just price charts. Used wisely, they can extend retirement longevity, smooth income during uncertain markets, and provide peace of mind. Used carelessly, they can underperform expectations, create confusion, and lead to poor timing decisions. The difference isn't the ETF. The difference is the investor. Investing is not about finding the highest yield. It's not about owning the most exciting strategy. And it's not about copying what worked last year. It's about alignment. Alignment between your goals, your risk tolerance, and your expectations. QQQI and SPYI make sense only when that alignment exists. And now, after this deep dive, you're equipped to decide that for yourself. Thanks for watching. If this helped you think more clearly about income investing, consider subscribing for more long-form, honest analysis like this. And as always, stay patient, stay disciplined, and invest with intention.